Hi, my name is Olivia Heil of Agrarian Schools, and today I want to talk about my record keeping system. So I have a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. So I just keep records really on the 3-year-old, and that is a tracking, not necessarily like to turn it in or to give it to anybody to show what we're doing, but I enjoy it. I enjoy kind of having an understanding. So this is the book that I chose. It's just a day-by-day calendar. So for example, I had marked out those pages. Here's a good example. So here it's a daily calendar, and it has every day, and then it has a month view. So I'll show you the month view. I got this at Barnes and Noble. That I think it was on sale at that point because it was already into the 2023 year. But here's an example of like the month view. So you can see as I show you views of my planner, different things. So fridge notes on completed work. I started with a calendar, monthly calendar on the refrigerator that I wrote on based on what we completed, not based on planning. So that's the key thing about this system, is that I have written down what we've completed, and it's not like a planning heavy record keeping system. It's based on what you've done. So if you have this idea of what you want to complete, then if you've completed it, you just write it down, and it's pretty simple, right? This is a month, this is a month. And this is very much a sampling of what I've done with my toddler. It's not exhaustive, as you see. Some months are more filled than other months, but this gives you an example of like where we were at that point in time, kind of a sampling, so to speak, of what school looked like at that point. It also gives me a reference for what I was trying out so that I can reflect on it just from memory, what those experiences were. I don't have elaborate reflections on like each individual thing, but at least it gives me a record of what we were doing at that time that I felt was worthy of writing down and including in a book like this. I started this in January of 2023, or maybe this was February. Let's see. But the reason why it was on sale is that this calendar is 2023, but it started like the last months of 2022. Okay, so I have a spot for the days that I started recording. We're not at the beginning of the daily calendar, so I use that area for writing notes, so like a notebook of sorts. For those days that had already passed by the time I purchased the planner. Some days are a lot more exhaustive than others when I actually did my daily recording, which kind of allows you to evaluate your schedule in greater detail. So some days you want to do like a full, evaluation of what you're doing. You can write down your rhythm, your schedule in more detail. Then you can go back and analyze it. If not at that point, then you can analyze it later on, which that might be something to regularly plan on doing throughout the school year, is to do a more detailed view. If anything, that gives you sampling in greater detail that you can go back and look at the end of the year and see where you've progressed through. That's kind of your own homeschool research, so to speak, because you have samples at different time points. So, for example, this was Monday and Tuesday in May, so I did a more elaborate run-through, writing down what we did. And that kind of helps me as the homeschool parent also, because, you're so independent, I guess, as a homeschool parent. So you're so independent in what you decide to do, especially with my daughter being this young. We don't have like an organization that we have to report to or turn in materials for. So this really allows you to like audit yourself on those days, and that also gives you an opportunity to talk these things over with your spouse. If you want to better communicate what you're doing during the day, It's not like you have to do this every day, but it gives your spouse an idea of, hey, like this is what it looks like when we really intensely do school one day, and maybe you show them a day that's also like more relaxed, but you're still with the children, and they're not with somebody else other than a parent. So that is one example of where I was really detailed in my record keeping. So another day, not so detailed here, but shorter, right? Other days, just didn't do it. So that it varies. So they're very much sampling. So let me give you a more recent example. Here are thoughts that I wrote down. So recent example. So those are some thoughts on how you might use just your basic planner without investing in a homeschool planner, which eventually I may do. But this is a low stress way to do it, especially with my children, being so young. So my daughter's 3. This is her 3rd year, so to speak, because she was 3 during this year. And it provides a tool for your homeschooling experience that is low input, right? And so I hope that those thoughts kind of helped you process and think about how you might do some record keeping in a low stress, low pressure kind of way. If you really appreciate content like this, if you would press the like button, that shows me what people are interested in, right? And then if you want to continue to follow along in this homeschooling journey of ours, you can hit that subscribe button. My name is Olivia, and I produce content on homeschooling and homesteading. So for a little homesteading background, we are on almost an acre of property here in Zone 8, and it's been about a year, going on a year and a half that we've been here. So we're very much in the beginning stage. So if you want to see what that kind of looks like with folks, we're not putting a whole ton of money into the outdoors, but we're incrementally recording it via YouTube videos to share. My background is in agricultural education, so that's a passion of mine. I have gone to school to be an agriculture teacher, and now I have the privilege of staying home and homeschooling my children personally before schooling other children. So I hope that I can share our experiences and it might help others. So comment below if you have any questions. I'd be happy to connect with you. Another neat thing about this system of writing down what you've done is that, I don't know about you, but I can get into a tizzy because I overplan or create expectations in my mind that are unrealistic. My little kids are not high school students right now, which I was trained to be a high school teacher, right? So this system allows a low expectation, and then I can look back at it and be like, oh, I'm proud of us because we actually did those things, instead of, oh, here's my long list of things that I want to complete and didn't get to, but we got to 3 of those things, which in all reality would be fine if you just did those, but it's hard to look at that amidst a list of 7 things and you're like, oh no, we didn't do enough. Or it doesn't help my children when my expectations are that high, or when I've prepared so much that my expectations are that high.